Yeah,
she's
like
flirting back for what it's worth.
She's like brain before beauty, and she's like, I'll cook you dinner, and she's digging it.
Yeah, they're flirting. Yeah. But then, he just drops a couple of little hints, that he's a good man. As Ren and Stimpy said, he's a good man, but he's not quite right in the head. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so I feel that his arc is earned.
Got it.
And I mean, he goes totally psycho at the end because he didn't have to stab her, for Christ's sake. Spoiler alert. He didn't have to stab her, but he's just already, you know what? He figured, I'm done. I'm murdering people. I'm dropping chicks off the face of the earth. I might as well just kill, the chick, because she's never going to put out anyway. Put the lock in the key. That's not game, brother. That's creepy.
Yeah, he's saying some weird stuff. He's like, we're half of the equation. I'm like, what is happening? And I think also with Holloway, she swings him when she starts talking about you're a wife beater, because then he slaps her. Right. You abused your kids. And I think at that moment, he just sort of, they hadn't slept in probably 2 days? So you have sleep deprivation, you haven't drank, you haven't had that, your brain's sort of shutting down. He has that temper, and I'm not justifying this, of course, I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying.
No, of course not. No.
I think her comments kind of sparked listen, he was holding the grenade. He is the grenade, right?
He is the grenade,
the pin's already pulled. She just removed his finger from the pin, from the thing. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. He's not a good guy, and he's not a good guy at all, period. Yeah. He reveals himself eventually to be a bad human being. And there are small hints of what's going on in America now, the quote-unquote left and right divide, because she's clearly a liberal. And he's clearly on the right. He's a might makes right kind of guy. He's talking about how he can see people because that's my job. I saw through him like a freaking X-ray. He believes that he's Uber cop.
They call me MRI.
Exactly. He thinks he's Marion Cobretti, of Canada. And when you challenge his quote unquote manhood, he's not about that. It's a very well written character, in my opinion. Yeah. Not that the character's not a good person. The character is well written and it's well acted. And the way that he and Holloway bounce off each other, you knew that one of them was gonna die.
She got him. She won that argument with him. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
In the history of the world where you have a smaller person and a big person, right? And I'm not saying this is always the case, but the smaller person wins the argument. The bigger person thumps them.
That's it, man. He's talking about how she's dried up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God. She's like, you can't get none.
You're just waiting for a man to screw you. I changed it because, PG-13. Yeah. You're just waiting for a man to screw you. You're dried up in there, aren't you? Yeah, I'm a psycho. Black cop, black cop, black cop. You know what I'm saying?
But then she delivers the mic drop. When she calls him out for being that abusive man and this and that and the other, that's when the big guy thumps the little guy.
Yeah, she calls him a Nazi. And he's like, nope.
What's interesting is he didn't want to, he saved her, Holloway, when the thing, I don't get this, Norbert. All right. So it's 4 people, right? It is Levin, it's Worth, it's Kazan, and it's Quentin. And they are holding a 100-pound woman. And they're saying you weigh 500 pounds.
They're tired.
Oh, 2 days.
They haven't eaten
you're right.
Energy. No worries. No worries.
You're right.
It's a valid point.
No,
they're tired, and she's jumping. You know what I'm saying? She's jumping off. So, I got that. Go ahead. Continue.
You got me. But he saved her. And then I think eventually he just kind of went, no. So it's pretty interesting how he made a heroic move to.
Right.
So maybe in this guy's life, he just made a lot of small choices that led him away from his inner self. Because
he is go ahead.
He did say, I'm going to go first several times.
Right.
And
yeah.
So it's interesting how he does have these moments. That's why this movie's good. This guy is a 3-dimensional, all right. I think
he's a full character.
Yeah. Because he didn't have to save Holloway. He could have been like, I tripped. And then cubed. And then just let her die. But he didn't save her to look her in the eye and then drop her.
Nah, man. It was total it's what the kids call toxic masculinity. Because it's his duty as a cop and as a man to be the quote unquote defender and savior. And he's trying to assert that role from the beginning of the movie. He defers to the Wren while he's alive because the Wren gives him what he needs to survive. And the same thing that he does with Nicole DeBoer and everyone. If you're useful to me, I can use you and I'll give you the basic respect. But after that, I don't need you. And then this chick called him a Nazi and this, that, and the third. And he looks her in the eye and he's like, you know what? You're of no use to me. I'm done with you.
And then Levin, I think when Levin kind of starts going against him, she says you're bad at math. She kind of goes from flirting to realize that this guy has become a monster. And then I think he starts viewing her as expendable towards the end as well. Would he have killed the three of them when they were leaving? Because they knew that he killed Holloway.
That's a great question. And that's another thing that we will never know because, he goes full berserker mode and Worth helps him to amputate his leg. Yeah. So if they get back into the real world, you have no idea what's going to happen. Go ahead.
Worth, his body is not normal because he falls that full, 14 feet on a very uneven surface. He gets pummeled by a shoe. He gets punched. He never breaks any bone.
Never.
His face is fine. There's a little bit of blood, but he's not human. So in this world, I guess we're assuming gravity or bodies are stronger.
Dude, you are an American man just like me, so you've worn a pair of boots before.
Yeah.
You understand the density of a pair of boots, right?
Yep.
This man is not only beating Worth with a boot, he's holding it by the shoelace, rearing back, and just whop. He beats the life out of him with this boot, man. If that's me, I'm peeing blood.
Yep.
Like today. Still. He took such a beating. Yeah, he's clearly made of unstable molecules. Shout out to the MCU. Because there's no way he's supposed to even be ambulatory with the beating that he took from Quentin.
That took place in 97. So I would still be hurting.
Yeah, clearly. Now, every time I lace up a pair of shoes, I'll be like, please. You know what I'm saying?
You'll just go off into nowhere, and I'll be looking at you. You'll be staring off into the sunset. I'm like, are you thinking about boots again? Yeah.
1,000-yard stare, boot PTSD. No more shoes for me. I wear slippers from now on.
Do you think these people wanted them to escape? Because they gave them the Wren. They gave them a mathematician. They gave them a doctor. They gave them a cop. They gave them a guy who had worked there. They gave them Kazan.
Yeah. You can lean in a couple of directions. You can say it's an experiment to see what people will do. You can say it's torture because these cats are sociopaths and just want to see what's going to happen. Or you could just say just straight up, we are scientists collecting data. Same way in World War II, they had the camps where they would just give people diseases and just let it run its course just to see what would happen. Humanity is awful, and that's another beautiful thing about this movie. It exposes the horror of just being a mankind, not being a man. Yeah. The horror of being people, man. It's so great. There's layers to this film.
If you're a sociopath and you're a billionaire and you're the head of this and you're chugging Red Bull, who do you want to put in there to see what happens? Like Kiss, you kidnap Kiss and have him in full regalia going through there? Do you have the Celtics? Like who?
If you put Kiss in there, you know who's going to win, man. It's going to be Gene Simmons.
Oh, clearly. Sure.
Because Gene Simmons refuses to stop. It's 2019 and they're still doing Kiss. He's still doing Kiss. Yeah, he's clearly the winner.
Yeah, Mick Jagger, they're like, he hasn't eaten in 32 days. He's still roaming around in there.
You know what I'm saying? The guitarist from that, the Rolling Stones, Keith Richards.
Oh, yeah.
Keith Richards would just stand in the Red Room and just absorb ambient light and just never die.
So he's like 79 and he falls out of a coconut tree, cracks his skull, and he's fine the next day.
Yeah. He just pulls a cigarette out of the coconut. Where did you hide that cigarette? Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? He's that guy. He's just terrifying.
Put the cast of the Thing in there. Like I don't know who that'd be an interesting thing to watch with all these people in there.
Ooh, you put the cast of the Thing in it. McCready, what do you think, huh? You think we're gonna make it out alive? You think you're gonna tell me what's going on, you son of a bitch? No, man. No. Look, because
wait, they put you in the cube, and then remember that they put you in the cube. And you gotta survive.
That's right. Now, I'm gonna do my best to get ahead, but you're gonna try to do your best to beat me. And so, this is the cube. Life in the cube. Keith David is a hero of mine.
Oh, man. I want to hear him sing Semi-Charmed Life.
Do. Semi-charmed kind of life. I love heroin, but I like it more than life. But I know that if I keep doing heroin, I'm going to die. So I better go in the cube and just get do. Semi-charmed kind of cube. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life.
We're insane. We're insane.
Is there any other things in this movie? I'm crying. Any other things you want to talk about in this movie?
Listen, anybody who hasn't seen Cube, if you're listening to this podcast, if you are a fan of The Twilight Zone, if you were a fan of Tales from the Dark Side, Tales from the Crypt, Monsters, give a shout out to the 80s right there, that old TV show. This is a brilliant movie. It is well acted. Don't believe the anti-hype. Cube is great. Every actor in this movie is dope. Shout out to Quentin for Black Cop, Black Cop, Black Cop. Because you don't get to see, frankly, brothers do deep, layered, go from good guy to bad guy roles very much, especially not in 97. So, really good movie.
Yeah, and then also, if you're looking for other good Canadian horror films, I want to recommend Pontypool, which I absolutely love. It's kind of a, it's just a single location almost zombie movie, and it's just from the perspective of a radio host. He's just kind of narrating it. Also, there's a movie on Netflix currently. It's called Ravenous. It's based in Montreal. It's not the 1999 cannibal picture. It's
it's something else.
Yeah, it's a zombie picture. Very art house, very vibey, but really great. Filmed out of Montreal. Very, very good movie. I definitely recommend that. And then I also there's other great ones like Black Christmas, Changeling, American Mary, Bloody Valentine, Prom Night, but I also like Backcountry. It's just about a couple getting murdered by a bear.
Oh, okay, well.
And so, it's great. it's a lot of fun. So I definitely recommend that.
Popcorn, Sheila. Get the popcorn for that one, Sheila. Get the popcorn. We're going to watch this lady getting eaten by a bear over here.
I guarantee the general would have outran that bear in that movie.
Oh, for sure.
Wait. Oh, last question. Do you think so? Quentin had blood on his hands in the beginning. Do you think there was an actual trap?
Ooh, good question. Wait, didn't he cut his? But he cut his leg when he was going through that weird.
Yeah.
In the 70s, they had that metal line thing. Is that where he got the blood from on his hand? I'm not sure.
No, in the first shot when you see him, he has a bloody hand. And he said a thing almost took my head off.
You know what? He probably ran into the room where the first guy got the Cuisinart.
You think so? Yeah,
I think that's because that's the only way it could have happened, that he could have gotten the blood. Because in the unfortunate Cube 2, you come to find out, that they're, because of all of the time paradoxes and going through different alternate dimensions, the one guy is murdering everybody to steal their watches because he's gone insane, and that's why he ends up with blood all over himself. But this is just simple Cube. So he definitely ran into the corpse of the guy who gets cubed, literally, in the first scene.
Got it. Because that was a question for me. I always wondered that. And I'm glad you said good question. That makes me happy.
Yeah, well, your questions are always good. You are my hero.
Well, this was fun, man. Thanks for coming on and talking Cube with me.
Love is love, baby.
All right, so for Mark Hoffmeyer and Norbert Morvan, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.
Saskatoon!
I wish you would step back from that ledge, my friend. You could cut ties with all the lies that you've been living in. And
in the Cube.
If you would not want to see me again, I would understand.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I know that song. I would understand. In the Cube.
Cube.
Yeah.